Owner's Perspective, hosted by Eagle Land. All things Colorado ranches from the owner's perspective.
Good morning. Welcome to The Owner's Perspective, a podcast hosted by Eagle Land Brokerage. My name is Reese Lovell. I'm a broker here at Eagle Land. Next to me is Joseph Burns, who's the broker-owner of Eagle Land Brokerage. And we're going to be talking everything and all things Western Colorado ranch properties and its issues and lifestyles.
But through the owner's perspective.
But through the owner's perspective.
I'm helping you out here.
That's good. That's good.
We are all about presenting things through the owner's lens, their perspective.
That's right. And today we're going to be talking about a ranch that we have for sale called The Preserve at Cornerstone. And so we're just going to be bringing properties and things to you and going through the details of them from the owner's perspective.
That's right. That's right.
So, Joey, let's talk about The Preserve at Cornerstone.
Well, the Preserve at Cornerstone is, we always talk about this is a great ranch, but this really is a great ranch. It's unique in the fact that back about 2000, we were involved with helping put together a ranch that used to be called the Flower Ranch. And the owner that put that ranch together later sold the ranch, brought in a group, and they decided to put in this world-class golf course. It's actually a Greg Norman design golf course, and it's up and operational right now. It's called Cornerstone. At one time, it was in like the top 3 new golf courses in the United States, and it kind of hit the market about 2007 and kind of went through the abyss of the downturn in 2008 to 2010. And so it went through a number of different restructures, but the golf course is up and running, and it's a beautiful place, fantastic golf course to play, and has, I think, 200 members now that are up there. But the uniqueness of this ranch is the owner who sold what is now Cornerstone Golf Course retained 528 acres at the bottom of the golf course. So, I mean, you have to imagine this. If you leave Montrose from the airport, you'd come south of town, just about 12 miles from the airport on the highway. You would turn at Government Springs Road and head west up onto the plateau on a paved road. You would get to this beautiful entrance gate, which is that goes to the golf course. You'd punch your code or it reads it on your windshield, and you would drive in like you're going to the golf course. But just as you would come in, you would peel off and get to this 528 acres. And this property, we met with the owner last year and said, what do we need to do to just kind of make it right? So he does things never halfway. So hired a construction crew to come in. They basically were able to extract rock off the property, crush the rock, and so they went through and resurfaced roads, widened roads, and really spent the entire year last year getting this ranch ready for sale. And so now the ranch has just got easy access. Utilities are all, they have access that the golf course had as you went to the golf course when they brought up from Montrose. And but you have this like nugget at the end of the golf course where you're not part of the golf course, you're not having to pay for the golf course, but you have this raw piece of property with great access, great views, and if you join the golf course, you can take a moped up, and I keep talking about mopeds.
Yeah, I know.
I got this moped fetish, I think.
Yeah, I think so. You're going to throw your golf bag over your moped and
but
go hit a tee and then go shoot an elk in the afternoon.
That's what you could do. I mean, honestly, this is a place that we talk about going golfing and hunting the same day, but this is actually in the same geographic area where you would just get on your golf cart and drive up the road and go to the lodge and have a fantastic meal and play around the golf. So pretty cool.
So, this sounds like a true gentleman's ranch where, some of these places we've talked about in the past that it just takes an eternity to get to, rough, bumpy road, to get this kind of elevation, to get this kind of privacy and views, especially of the San Juan Mountains to the south. But this is one that another company had come in and spent, what I understand, tens of millions of dollars to pave that road for I don't know how many miles and bring utility infrastructure in. And this ranch sets right off that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, give perspective. When when they started that golf course, they had to bring water lines, utilities, fiber, natural gas for 15 miles
Oh, wow.
to build this golf course. I mean, there were estimates of 150 to 160 million dollars to build the golf course. And so this ranch is a part of that in the fact of geographics and the location to the front door. But it's not part of the golf course. And so, in fact, because the way the ranch sits, there's actually a county road called Mariposa Drive that goes around the backside of the property too. So the interesting part is if you're that buyer that's like, I like that, but I really don't want to feel like I'm going to the golf course, you can actually go to the backside. And the way the roads were constructed and positioned, you can kind of wind in where you have this very private, very just kind of surreal driveway to get up to the top, and you're really not impacted by the golf course or the front gate or anything. Or if you want to come in the other way, it's like you're going right up through the golf course. So really cool. But because of the way it was positioned also, it retained all of its development rights, which the county still has. So you can do 35-acre parcels on the property without even, it's just use by right. Yeah, and it's located in Unit 62, Game Unit 62, which is over the counter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were guys hunting elk on it this year, shot a great bull up there this year, and there's just, it's kind of an area that because of the golf course and because of this property, the elk kind of move around. But, not unusual to see 300 head of elk on this place.
Wow. No, that's fantastic. And from my understanding, last year, to just access the property or drive around, it was a pretty bumpy drive. That's all been, spent a lot of money, a lot of time to improve that.
Yeah.
And
it's really a kind of a pleasure when an owner comes in and says, what is the issue? What do we need to do to make this right? And we drive 3/4-ton trucks and we're pulling Rangers with us. And this is a kind of ranch that if you have to take that kind of iron to show and you're going through the golf course, it's kind of unusual. It's like, no, we need to leave the Rangers at home. We need to be able to get into a 3/4-ton truck, drive up through the ranch, and have a smooth, very nice showing. And before, you just couldn't do it. It was rough, and you'd beat up people, and it was scratching your truck. And it's just not that way now. They did just a masterful job. They hired one of the most predominant contractors in the area to go do the work. And so the roads are crowned, they're rolled. You can drive at normal speeds, and it is just in fantastic shape. And so if you have a place that you want to build a house, I can guarantee you there's a road in place to allow that to that one location. And from an owner's and buyer's coming into the ranch, it's just not a lot they have to deal with.
Yeah, which is really nice. It's really nice to have all that in place and everything. And then, I foresee that somebody's going to pick this up and they can build them a show house on it. Something to really show off to their friends and to be able to, have a membership there at the golf course and have that all accessible. Everybody else on the golf course is down to like 5 acres or less or 35-acre pieces. And you're the guy that has 500 acres right here.
Well, they really don't have, they have kind of this quasi, if you want to go hunt on the golf course, it's just kind of it's really not something that's defined. So if somebody said, I really like the golf course living, I want to go buy a house right up next to the clubhouse and then have my own place I can go hunt, totally could happen that way as well. So lots of options with this. And then another thing, the golf course is at a very high elevation. So even though this ranch begins when you come into the golf course is actually 1,000 feet higher.
Oh, wow.
And so the ability to be at this property and have a year-round home, much easier than just
Even
up the
that
road,
golf
just
course.
because, you're climbing at a much higher elevation for the golf
1,000
course.
feet makes a lot of difference.
Oh, yeah.
And
A lot of
snow
difference.
and everything. And temperature.
Yeah. So, beautiful place, though.
It is gorgeous, and looks like the parts of that too, across that plateau. It's really hit and miss with how the land kind of rises before it falls down in the valley on the other side. That if you're in the wrong spot, you can completely lose your view corridor. But this one here, I would imagine because he retained this for a reason.
Oh yeah, I mean you don't sell your ranch and keep the worst. He wanted the jewel, and he wanted something that would be much easier to live year round. And it's just not a view to the south, but also a view to the east. I mean, we're in a unique spot in western Colorado where the Continental Divide goes north and south, but in our area here, it actually turns east and west. So we have a view to the south and to the east that are 14,000-foot peaks. So, one of the most photographed ranges in the United States, between Mount Sniffles and Maroon Bells and Aspen are the two most photographed mountain ranges in the country. And this is looking directly at the Sniffles Range. And then as you rotate to the east, you're looking at the San Juans and Uncompahgre and Precipice and Wetterhorn, all the way to Lake City. You're seeing these 14,000-foot peaks, and it's a matter of 20 minutes, and you're driving to Montrose on a paved road. So very convenient property to own, with great chances of great quality hunting, and the uniqueness of being at a golf course that was ranked in the top 3 in the country at one time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
and to have paved road access and to be that close to town, but not really feel like you're that close to town.
Yeah, I think one of the unique features of this property as well is, as you get into the lower country, they used to raise hay on this property years ago, and so they have large open meadows at the bottom. So I always like that. If you can build a property and you can kind of look across your fields, and there's early irrigation water that comes on it, and then you still have the roughness and the draws with ponds built in it. It just has a lot of uniqueness, but you're right, it's a gentleman's ranch, very much so.
Right.
Or gentlewoman.
Want to make sure to be inclusive.
Oh, we always are. We always are. No judgment here.
Yeah. Well, this place is gorgeous, and we can find it on our website, eagleland.com, the Preserve at Cornerstone. You can download the brochure there. We have interactive maps just to look to see where it is. Just a great property. One, definitely to consider. And, it's just really, really cool place. And I like easy access, because when you're bringing fans and family in from the airport, it's just so nice to be able to drive, and you have this elegant approach all the way to the property.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're a little bougie.
Are we a little bougie?
We're a little bougie, Reese. That's us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can work that into eagle, bougie.
Bougie eagle?
I don't know.
Something like that.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
But
we're done. Yeah. Anyways. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. The Preserve at Cornerstone. Thank you, Joey, for bringing this property to us and talking to us about it. And we'll see you next time.